Marco Colbert, Speedokote Refinish Network. Alright, so can't say this is the first time that this has happened. Unfortunately, those of us garage painters, yes, we can usually get pretty good results. However, yesterday I was painting and a big old gust of wind came in while I was painting. Clear was wet and there is trash everywhere in this thing. It's normal as a DIY painter / even a professional painter. It's relatively normal to get, 2 to 5 dust specks per panel. And some guys are going to watch that and be like, oh my god, that's way too much. Guys, everybody gets dust in the paint. Even like the top scale guys working out of $100,000 paint booths, downdraft, you name it, top of the line technology, even they're getting dust in the paint. However, this is well beyond my liking, especially for a customer's, car. If it was my car, I might be a little bit lenient and say, hey, it looks good from 5 feet away, don't really care. But customer's car, absolutely not. In this trade, it is not always about how good you are. Sometimes it is good to mess up. That way you can correct the issue and make it a learning process. And of course, we all get flaming hot. We all get flaming mad when these things happen. I'm just done painting forever. Man, screw this crap. Well, you just got to step back. And of course, I was mad yesterday. You got to step back. Okay, we're going to fix this and we're going to learn how to do it.
Before we start off the video, I want to give a shout out to one of our silent sponsors on my page. All the towels you guys see I use in my videos come from D's Towels. They're very good quality, 300 GSM, they're really thick. And guys, you get 240 of them shipped to your door for $65. Doesn't get cheaper than that. Hit them up, get your towels, guys.
Okay, so to start off by fixing this job, you're going to start out with about 320 grit. If you have some really thick chunks of trash in your clear coat and you put on a solid 2 coats of clear, don't really worry about burning through. Your main goal is to knock that trash out of that clear coat. And as you guys can see, just after a couple passes of 320, we got most of it out. So we're going to keep going with 320. And like I said, you're just knocking that trash out of the clear. Sometimes you're just taking the heads off of it. The trash still might actually physically be in the clear, but you're just knocking the surface flat. Here's a good example of that. This is after about 3 or 4 passes with some 320. And then, from here, you're going to go ahead, now that you got most of the trash out, you're going to start up sanding. So you're going to start going up to, your 400 and your 500 grits. On this section right here in the front of the hood, I didn't have much trash. So right here in this clip, we're using, I believe, 400 grit and starting to up sand and get the smoothness back in the hood. And this is when we're done. Now we're going to blow it off just in case there's any 400 grit particles left from my sandpaper left in the sanding process from the 400 grit. You want to blow that off because when you move up to, I believe we're at 800 grit right here, you don't want any of that grit remaining because then you're just going to be putting 400 grit scratches right back in the surface. Now you want to up sand to 800 grit, and this is what it's going to look like after you up sand to 800 grit. So there's no trash. It's smooth. You got out all your 400 grit scratches, you're at 800 grit. Now you're ready for some base coat. Now for the cleaning process, right before we start putting on some base, guys, I know this surface is contaminant free. It's freshly painted. There's no grease or wax or anything like that. So I'm just taking some, it's a Speedokote water-based pre-clean and just do a couple coats of that and you're good. Wipe it off, done. Now, as far as the base coat, for stuff like this that I mess up in this type of manner, I like to just go ahead and blow one light coat of base over the entire panel. I am staying away from the panel gap between the hood and the fender to try and get still try and get a decent paint match. But just blow one coat of paint, real light coat of paint with some slow reducer over the whole panel. Just in case you have any trash left in the hood, that one coat of base will kind of cover it over and you'll be good to go. Now, moving on to the last step in the painting process, we have the Fast Dry Euro Clear from Speedokote. Guys, this clear is bomb. For you, especially for used car dealer work or just really cheap paint jobs. This is a one coat and done product for those cheaper jobs. If you want it to look nice, 2 coats is always recommended. However, this clear coat, if you're smacking it on really wet, will produce the build in one coat of 2 coats of the cheaper clear. So one coat of this is basically equivalent to 2 coats of the cheaper low solids clears. Really good quality stuff, and it dries up pretty nice. As far as our spray techniques for our hood, I know a lot of you guys are shaking your head like, what the heck is he doing? He's starting, he's stopping. Well, some of these bigger hoods, I'm a little bit of a shorter guy, so some of these bigger hoods I have to break up in sections, and you know, I break it up kind of in quadrants. So I spray the top part of the driver's side, the top part of the passenger side, and then we'll move down to the, as you guys can see, we're moving down to the lower part of the hood. The biggest key if you break up your panels into quadrants or halves or sections is keeping the whole panel wet at all times. As long as you look out for your dry spots, make sure you don't get any dry spots. Keeping the entire panel wet all at once, even if you have to go over the previously cleared portion just a little bit just to keep it wet, you should be perfectly fine doing this. Sometimes it can be very troubling to try and get that whole hood sprayed in one shot, in one pass. And as you guys can see, wow, just one coat of clear, one coat of base, and look at the results we got. After redoing this job, we only got about maybe 3 or 5 specks of trash the entire hood. Glass finish, guys. Glass finish, absolutely smooth and beautiful. To be honest with you, this was almost too good of a job for a dealership. I actually feel like I kind of cut myself short on the price wise, and they got a really good quality job for the price. But overall, I'm happy I could turn around and fix this job and make it right. There you guys have it. How to fix your hood if a giant gust of wind comes in your garage and blows trash all in it. Now, you guys know me. Like I said, I am not very picky. I am one of those guys. I like to sleep at night. I am not extremely picky with my work, especially when it comes to the vast majority of the work that I come in being cheap. I've done $20,000 paint jobs in my heyday, wet sand and buffed, everything, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 grit, not a dust speck in a paint job, but the reality is most people don't want to pay for that. So when it comes to my work, you know, I don't mind a couple dust nibs here and there, you know, in the job, but it was just I mean, there was probably well over 100 specks of trash in the hood. It was probably the worst screw up I've ever had in the last 6 months. But we got her fixed up, looking real nice. I still see probably about maybe a good 5, maybe 8 specks of trash in the hood. It's for the dealership. Probably just gonna leave it like that, or they'll probably buff it out, whatever. Dealerships, one thing I've learned, touch a little bit on the mobile auto body stuff. Guys, dealerships are not picky. As long as there's no runs, the color isn't way off, and it looks better than what it did before, they really don't care. Now, some of the restoration work I got in the back, yeah, you know, some stuff like that, we're going to denib a little bit more. If it's got, you know, more than 2 or 3 specks of trash per panel, or if they're really big chunks, we'll denib it. But, you know, stuff like this, guys, just as long as it looks good, you know, standing 3 to 5 feet away, send it. Anyways, hope this one helps you guys out. Like, subscribe, new videos every week.